Imagine Chicago in the mid-20th century. Among its millions of inhabitants lived a man almost nobody knew. Henry Darger, a shy, unassuming old man, spent most of his life in a tiny rented room on North Webster Avenue. He worked as a hospital janitor, avoided social interaction, and lived in complete isolation. His only connection to the outside world was his daily trips to church and rare walks around the city. Neighbors considered him eccentric but harmless. No one could have imagined that behind the walls of his humble room lay an entire world. A world so vast and terrifying that it could rival the most elaborate fantasies. To understand Darger, one must look into his past. His childhood was filled with unbearable pain and trauma. Henry's mother died when he was only 4 years old. He was placed in a Catholic asylum by his father, and then, due to alleged behavioral problems and nervous disorders, sent to an asylum for the feeble-minded in Lincoln, Illinois. There, he endured cruel treatment, labored at hard jobs, and witnessed the suffering of other children. This experience left an indelible mark on his psyche, shaping his world where innocence was under constant threat and cruelty was commonplace. At 16, he escaped the asylum and never returned. In 1972, at the age of 79, Henry Darger was forced to move to a nursing home due to declining health. A few months later, he passed away. It was then that his incredible secret was discovered. His landlord, photographer Nathan Lerner, upon entering Darger's room, was confronted with a sight that profoundly shook him. The room was crammed with junk, newspaper clippings, books, empty bottles. But amidst all this chaos were thousands of pages covered in tiny handwriting and hundreds of astonishing, disturbing watercolors. This was not merely a hobby. It was an entire world, meticulously created in secret for over 60 years. Henry Darger, the recluse and janitor, turned out to be the author of one of the most monumental and peculiar epics in the history of outsider art. Henry Darger's magnum opus was a colossal manuscript titled The Story of the Vivian Girls, in what is known as the realms of the unreal, of the Glandeco-Angelinian war storm, caused by the Child Slave Rebellion. This immense work consists of 15 volumes and spans over 15,000 pages of tiny text. It was typed and handwritten, sometimes with annotations and additions, as if the author himself feared missing a single detail. The plot tells the story of 7 young Vivian girls, daughters of Prince Robert, who lead a rebellion against the cruel nation of Glandolinia. This state enslaves children and commits terrible atrocities against them. Darger himself described his role as a protector of child innocence. His world is filled with battles, betrayals, escapes, and incredible adventures. Accompanying the manuscript were hundreds, possibly thousands of illustrations, executed in watercolor, collage, and pencil. These images are the most striking part of his legacy. They depict the Vivian girls, often nude or partially clothed, in a variety of sometimes shocking situations. Fighting monsters, enduring torture, suffering at the hands of cruel adult soldiers, sometimes with wings or horns attached to them. Darger created these images by combining his own drawings with cutouts from magazines, catalogs, and comics, layering them. This gave his works a unique, surreal appearance. The beauty and innocence of the young princesses here coexist with grotesque cruelty and violence, reflecting the traumas of his own childhood and the constant struggle between good and evil in his world. His world was his protection, his prison, and his salvation all at once. After Henry Darger's death, his work was recognized as one of the most significant discoveries in outsider art brut. His works are exhibited in major museums around the world, studied by art critics, psychologists, and philosophers. But Darger himself never sought recognition. He created his world solely for himself, as a refuge from harsh reality. The story of Henry Darger is not just the story of an artist. It is a profound look into the human psyche, at how trauma can give rise to unimaginable creative impulse. His life was a tragedy of reclusion, and his art, a cry from a soul trapped in its own, simultaneously beautiful and horrifying world. He was an unassuming old man, whose secret life proved to be a monumental testament to the fragility and resilience of the human spirit, leaving behind a question: how many more such worlds are hidden behind the walls of ordinary homes?